I'd like to call this meeting to order, please.
Yes, you need to turn that on.
There you go.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Our regular scheduled meeting. As we gather today, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of this committee and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. On August 13th, I attended the County Council along with the Health, Community Services, and Corporate Service Committees. These meetings continue to highlight the importance of collaboration between upper and lower tier municipalities in delivering services effectively. On August 15th and 16th, I was pleased to attend an Irish gathering. I want to extend my thanks to Colton and Michaela and all of the outstanding volunteers who made this year's festival such a success. Despite the intense heat, the community came together in remarkable numbers. A special thank you goes to Eileen Walsh for booking an excellent lineup of entertainment. I also want to make note of a rising star, 12-year-old Jackson Cargus from Quadville, who has ties to Killaloe. His performance was inspiring, and I'm hopeful we will see him again at future events. And I should mention, and I think I mentioned the car show in our last meeting, but if not, it was an outstanding event. And again, the heat was unbearable, but people came out in droves. From August 16th until today, I attended the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, which is the AMO conference. The conference was filled with insightful speakers and provided many opportunities to network with colleagues from municipalities across Ontario. The conversations reinforced a common theme. Municipalities are facing similar challenges, and we share a united need for increased funding to meet the expectations of our communities. And now, anyone have any pecuniary or financial interest to declare? Having seen none. And we'll move to our delegation. Kate, you're just in time.
Okay, or you can hand them around to council. Yep.
You're on there.
Issues or things I wanted to speak on anyways. I understand that David had previously challenged the chartered accountants that deal with KHR. And I wondered if this was true, if you did challenge their the process or what have you. And I wondered if you were a certified professional accountant yourself. I know they have experience for many, many years. Since 1951, they've been professional accounting services for medium and small businesses. And not only are they accountants, they specialized in accounting for public sector and municipalities. So when you challenge them, you do realize it costs us, the taxpayers, more money when you do so, correct?
Well, I'll let you go on, you know.
Okay. I don't appreciate, having to pay additional taxes or increases on taxes or whatever have you, from you challenging them when really, there's no need to challenge. If there's something gravely wrong, obviously they wouldn't still be in business. Not only do they have an auditor, they have many auditors behind the scenes that look over the accounting before they submit it. So I'm not quite sure why you're challenging them. I don't appreciate the waste of taxpayers' money, in my opinion. So that was the first thing. The second thing was you requested an Integrity Commission's investigation regarding the CRC seeking support for the grant application during the KHR August 5th meeting. I believe you believe there was a breach of regulations by 2 councillors. Apparently afterward you had requested a special meeting for council ASAP and the meeting didn't happen. Why did the meeting not happen? And why did you not follow up to make it happen? I don't believe that you were professional enough to schedule a meeting and wait for the meeting. And speaking with the councillors, trying to understand and resolve the issues prior to basically throwing them under the bus. I don't believe you acted professionally as a leader, showing them respect that they deserve, basically. And I don't believe you acted accordingly and once again wasted taxpayers' money prior to reviewing the issue 100%. So those are my comments. I'm a taxpayer. Like I said, I don't appreciate the waste of money. I have no idea how much an Integrity Commission's investigation costs. Doesn't sound cheap. So
let me ask, being directed at me, so first off, the members of the club, what I asked for is a comprehensive review of policies and procedures of the financial operations of 2024. And what that means is that the policies and procedures used in 2024 is better. So, for example, we found a lady, water and waste permit. It was $86,000. We found that and we fixed that, which meant roughly 3% tax money you didn't get charged for.
fixed it in what way? What was wrong and how did you fix it?
Because we've gone through all of this. It's been put through our financial statements, our budgeting, and that 86,000 normally would have been charged to the taxpayers of the municipality. Now we found resources to plug that, so it did not get charged to the taxpayer. So you say 3% by us plugging in 86,000.
What do you mean by plugging in?
They used reserves. It has to be revenue neutral. Water and wastewater has to be revenue neutral. And it wasn't. There was always a difference in expenses that were higher than the revenue. So that was rectified. We saved the taxpayers 3% on their tax bill. 86,000 means 3% to everyone. Number two, yes, you have questions in here, but I can't really make any comment because it's in the Integrity Commissioner's hands.
Okay, but you did call a meeting or requested a meeting happen after, correct?
I did.
You didn't follow through to make sure the meeting happened. You didn't ask any questions, you just had your beliefs and went plowing forward with them, right?
It's not entirely true, but like I said, I can't make any comment until the Integrity Commissioners report.
But you can comment that you requested a meeting, but
Yes, I can.
decided not to wait for it. Or follow up and make it happen, right?
We waited until the following council meeting.
Okay,
That's what I could say.
and what?
So there's not a lot of answers I can give you because it's still under the investigation. So I'm trying to be as diplomatic as I can.
So will taxpayers get the outcome of this?
Well, yeah,
Because by the sounds of it,
we've had a couple of.
sounds like you asked for a meeting, it didn't happen, and you went, oh, hit on you all, I'm just gonna throw you under the bus. And
That was the case, so, we've had other integrity commissioner use and they've been broadcast, or he comes on and he announces whatever's happening.
I understand that, but you're the one that requested it, correct? So it costs money, correct?
Yeah, normally the person would be confidential. I felt strong enough that I admitted that I did it. So because I wanted to be upfront with council that I felt there was a problem, so, and that's what I did.
Well, I guess we'll wait for the outcome because it doesn't sound like from all that I've read in the paper and kind of from your comments right now that you're not really answering my question that you, yes, asked for the meeting, but you won't comment on why you didn't try to insist on the meeting happen.
That's what I said, it's an ongoing investigation, so I'm not at liberty to make any comment.
Okay, well, I just want to let you know that I'm not happy with your, your actions,
I
so.
wasn't happy to do it either, so.
Well, it certainly doesn't instill trust in who you have on your counselors when you throw them under the bus. Before asking questions of your team, basically, this is your team. They're here to support you. They collectively have much more knowledge in dealings of government than you do. You had no previous training or anything prior, correct?
That's correct.
So why would you not lean on them and at least have the honor and respect to ask them questions before you throw them under the bus? And that's my comment, and that's how I feel.
If that's your phrase.
So I just think that if you want to be the leader and not make us all look bad, that you need to rely on your team and be a little more respectful than you've been to them, in my opinion. So anyways. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate.
Thanks, Katie. You're allowed to stay and you don't have to stay.
Okay. I'll decline, but thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.
Okay, moving to the events. Previous meeting, regular council meeting on the fifth, and listening performance to bid.
Moved by Ted Brown, second by Maureen McMillan. Motion to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of August 5th, 2025, open and closed sessions. Understanding closed minutes remain confidential. You have to put your mic on. You're gonna have to remind me often. Any questions or discussion? Having seen none, all those in favor? Carried. Moved by Maureen McMillan, second by Harold Levine. Motion to approve the minutes of the Committee of Adjustment meeting of August 5th, 2025, open session. Questions or discussion? All those in favor? Carried.
Ryan?
Just the meeting,
Oh, sorry.
I wanted to remind council why I will not be available on October 7th for the regular meeting, or November 4th, regular meeting.
Thank you for that. And now we'll move on to Bob.
All right, this is a report from July 15th meeting. At the front in operation, July 15th, we had a wildland bushfire at Foy Provincial Park. July 22nd, we had a motor vehicle collision, Simpson Pit Road and Highway 60. There's a couple of pictures from that particular scene. That stuff on the ground, that's our mop up for spilled liquids. July 26th, ATV fire at the Round Lake Country Store. I can't even get any value out of any of that metal that's left. August 4th, we had a bonfire complaint at Sherwood River Lane. On the 5th, it was fire on a fence adjoining Lavera's campground. People had thrown ashes against the fence, and that's the typical story. August 9th, we had a fireworks complaint on Boyle Lane. August 10th, motor vehicle collision at Round Lake Road and Albert Street needing extrication. This car was on its way to the car show and almost got there. I think probably slammed on the brakes. As you can see, that Ram truck didn't have too much damage. August 16th, we had a bonfire complaint on Eno Road. Ongoing activities, we are doing weekly truck checks, monthly equipment checks. Recent events, August 8th, I put in a level 2 fire ban. August the 8th, I just used that as the last date. I'm not exactly sure when it was totally complete, but the new flashing green light signs have been installed throughout. And then we got a little bit of vandalism here. Somebody cut off one of the legs of the fire ban sign on Mask Road. So I screwed it together, then kind of put a cast around it. We'll see if that holds. August 8th, we were dealing with the Kildoo Craft and Community Fair. August 10th was the KHR Car Show. August 14th, it was a Strong Mayor webinar. There's a lot more controls and whatnot in that. When I saw that presentation, what seemed to be discussed earlier. August the 14th, the OFM Town Hall, read the year 2 of the Fire Protection Grant. Last year, we had the first year of a 3-year grant, $10 million a year for that particular grant. So we were expect to get an extra 10 million this year. Somewhere along the line, that's got boosted to 20 million. So they've been looking at it, and in our 444 municipalities or equivalent, there's 1,216 stations, fire halls, whatever you want to call them. Okay, divided into 20 million, it's expected that each station will get $16,447 of grant money. For us, that's times 2. So you're at almost 33,000 bucks. Also, John Pegg, the fire marshal, is sitting there saying, we've complained for so many years, we don't have any money to be able to do stuff, that they want to make sure none of this grant money is sitting on the table by the time they finish the year. So they have suggested that in many cases, if we can, I won't say pad the account any, but we're picking up the leftovers from some of the areas where they didn't put in enough to cover off their $32,000 or $16,000 grant. So if we can push it up a little bit, we could probably plan on 40,000 bucks. And if we didn't get that difference on it, we can just write it off as the 6,500 bucks as a couple of bunker gear that I'm going to be buying anyway if we don't get it via the grant. So that's what that one's about. August 15th, we had fire prevention training at Boneshire Provincial Park. August 16th, we had the Irish Gathering Touch-a-Truck in Killaloe. At the same date, we had a Touch-a-Truck at the Boneshire Provincial Park. Upcoming events, officers meeting tomorrow, bi-monthly meeting on September the 9th, pump testing certification on September 17th, Ontario Association of Fire Chiefs Town Hall on September the 17th, November 25th, we have a bi-monthly meeting. Recent training on July 15th, we did foam training. July 22nd, dry hydrant scenario. August 12th, pump training with Wajax plus forced entry. Last night, we did the quiz night, getting them ready for exams. And what do we got? Upcoming training, next week will be extinguishers on practical. September 16th, search and rescue at the smokehouse. September 23rd, vehicle fire. October 7th, radio communications. October 14th, ground and roof ladders. October 28th, extrication scenario. November 18th, hazmat, Canutech, and chemical suicide. I'm looking for volunteers for that one. December 2nd, size up scenarios, overhaul tarps and sprinklers, and December 9th, PPE, SCBA, and knots. And on the EMC side, the Community Emergency Management Coordination side, recent events, we had our ICAMPO meeting, and that's the Improving the Quality of Emergency Management Programs in Ontario. And we have one of those on every Thursday till the end of October that are put in here. So we have October 28th, September 25th, October 30th. September 3rd, we have Renfrew County Fire Chiefs Association quarterly meeting. And let's see, October 23rd is countrywide exercise for 2025. And that is my report.
Any questions of Bob? Oh, lots of hands. Ted, go first.
I just wondered, there's like.
Here you go, have fun.
Where was I? I was just wondering, was there any charges filed against the people burning after the
The normal process here. Normal process is I will go, or a captain or whatever the case will be, make sure the individuals are aware that there's a fire ban on, that they're aware when there isn't a full ban on, they are aware of the regulations, which is bylaw 2021, number 28. And they get a copy of it, explain to them, et cetera, and they can hem and haw at that point. Then we invite them to the fine schedule, which is a minimum of $500. And if we end up having to bring out trucks, they pay the MOT rate, which is over $550 a truck. As a full response fire department, we could end up with 6 trucks on top of that. Okay, so all of a sudden, when you're in the $4,000 or $5,000 range of possibility of fines, we usually don't have second offenders.
okay, I just anybody that you go to that has a bonfire right now and says they don't know there's a fire ban on, they shouldn't be allowed to play with matches, because everybody in Ontario, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia knows. Personally, I think they should be fined with no warnings when it's dry like this, but that's just my opinion, so thank you.
Okay, but that isn't historically the direction provided to fire.
Okay, just at the end of the day, you have the power to charge when you think it's necessary, so.
So would that be something that the policies and procedures need to look at and to review? Is it worthwhile doing that, or?
I don't believe we have a policy or a procedure that states that. I think that was maybe just direction given to Bob at one point in time, but that's just my opinion, because I don't care who you have. You don't know there's a fire ban on right now, you go pay the $500 fine,
Yep.
in my opinion, but that's up to Bob, because at the end of the day, Bob has the power to lay fines, so.
Brian, I think I saw your hand up.
Yeah, it was basically the same question as Ted had. I just wondered, because I had people asking me if there was any fines pressed on these people that are lighting the fires or making fires. And he said no fines were put out, but so just to be clear, so did they get charged for the trucks being taken there?
No. Our success rate as far as recidivism is very, very low. Where the biggest issue is when somebody's renting out a cottage or something, they don't advise the renters of what the requirements are. And they're there for 1 week, 2 weeks, then somebody else is coming in beyond that. That we do get occasionally. But for especially the citizens of the township and that, they're pretty good with watching the fire ban and following accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I just, there's also that factor that there's a lot of regular people that live around the area that have property and bush, and they're quite concerned when it gets dry like this about fire. And so I do get asked. Anyhow,
Sure.
thanks.
Mr. Keel.
Okay, you mentioned trucks and the firemen go to these calls, eh? So that's costing taxpayers money, our truck, our wages for the fire department, right?
Correct, yes.
So why? So if it's costing taxpayers money, for you going to tell someone to put out a fire or a campfire, I think they should be paying for our cost, regular taxpayers, for us going out there and doing that. That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? I just have one, the new flashing green light signs.
Yes,
The county did us a favor and they didn't charge us for the bigger ones.
great.
So just so you're aware. And on that note, on that happy note, thanks, Bob. Perfect. Holton, you're up next.
All right, so I provided council with some notes regarding some community programming, outcome events, and grant statuses and applications. And then just, looking to get some direction on some items so I can proceed. So we'll start off with some grants. So the ESP grant, which is the Immigrant Support Program through the Embassy of Ireland, we were successful in that, and I did email council. I'm just reporting on that the grants were used fully for the Irish gathering, and we're able to implement those who were at the gathering, those new cutout signs with the 4 holes in them that had the Government of Ireland recognition on them. That was put towards that funding. I've submitted final reports for Canada Summer Jobs and Experience Ontario, and currently working on 2 more, which is the Emergency Preparedness Grant and the Fire Protection Grant. So the ROD grant, I'm not sure how I would go about this. Is this just talking from the committee perspective?
I think Councillor McMillan's going to give an update
Okay,
through
perfect.
committees. Yeah.
Perfect.
Do that after what we get into the.
Okay.
movies, Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So some recreation infrastructure updates. So council received the ad slips, terms and conditions, as well as the cost for it and my proposed idea. And I'm just looking to see if I can get council's approval on the terms and condition as a whole, as well as the cost associated with it, so I can move forward. The ad slips were budgeted for this year and are currently sitting at the warehouse, which is the old fire hall. And once council gives direction on if they accept it or not, I can start with that implementation.
Any questions on that document that you received?
I have one question. What do you have any idea what the approximate cost for creating your ad? Because I see like the person would be responsible for doing that. That's do you have any idea what that cost might be for business owners?
I think it would differ between business to business.
Okay.
And I think a general consensus would be about $300.
Okay.
So you suggested rental rates of 400. I'll get this eventually. You've suggested rental rates of $400 for a full sign, and half of a space is $200. Have you floated that idea out to potential businesses that you're thinking? Like, is that a reasonable amount? Is that what other places charge?
Yeah, so whenever I was contacting potential or interested parties in the preliminary stages, I kind of ran rough numbers by them, and those numbers seem to be feasible to the people I reached out to.
Are they in line with what other municipalities might charge?
Yes,
They are?
yes.
Okay. I just have no.
And that is through that is through neighboring municipalities charging similar amounts for the same size ad.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? So, can I just see a show of hands as far as for Colton to go ahead with this project? 6, good. You're golden. Make us money.
And yeah, so the revenue from that is up to council, but in my head, I was seeing that kind of stays in a reserve fund for the outdoor parks to cover operational costs and some fixes if it's under there. So we'll go to the Visitor Information Center. So 385 visitors in the month of July, and so far KPIs are showing around the same pace for August, which is pretty good numbers if you ask me. So some event outcomes and logistics. The swim barbecue. It was a great turnout. We had over 100 people. Next year, I would like to maybe get a sign or like I don't know, maybe like a some type of circle or something like a backdrop, I guess you could call it, for the graduates to get a picture with, because I saw a lot of parents taking pictures with their kids and there was really nothing to see on the back. It's going to be about $300. And just wondering if maybe I can bring that in and council can discuss that in the next budget.
Yep, put it in your budget.
So our next event was the car show. It was very well attended, over 600 people total, including the car vendors. For the first time, I think in the car show history, we were out of space in the park. We had vintage cars in the visitor parking. Moose FM was there doing a live broadcast, which was pretty interesting to see. And they were just offering free advertisement for our event. 161 total cars were registered, which is the highest the event's ever had. Next year, I would like to get a porta potty. There was a few complaints just about limited access to bathrooms because there's only the one in Round Lake. And just wondering if that's something we can do for next year.
We used to have one. Yeah. Yeah, Colton and I talked about that one also people have to show.
And I would also like to touch on that $265 was donated to the food bank through 50/50 at the car show. So the next event, the Irish Gathering, great success in my eyes. So Friday night we had 250 people. We had Jackson Cargis and the Never Willbillies, both great bands. Saturday, between the farmers market, Touch a Truck, Culture Center, and all the events we had going on, I counted 800 people through our KPI indicators. So overall, a little over 1,000 people throughout both days, which is pretty good numbers in my eyes. I'd like to give a thank you to the Immigrant Support Program for, again, funding that event and allowing us to upgrade some existing signage and overall enhancement of our event. I was notified that the Lions bar sale was low. They made more Friday night than Saturday as a whole. I'm attributing that to the heat, as it was 40 degrees, and I'm I'm kind of optimistic that those numbers will change if it was a more warm climate or more suitable climate, I guess we could say. We had an ice cream truck there and they did well in sales, and the Touch a Truck event was a hit for the families and young kids. So I'd like to see that. The headliners for Saturday night were awesome. The Fiddleheads did a great job. Chandra School Dance did an amazing job. And thank you to Kyle Fellover for coming, and everyone else who I didn't mention, just a general thank. And then a thank you to the volunteers, the Irish Gathering Committee, and everyone who helped along the way, especially the car show committee. They did a great job. Yeah, so one event that I'm going to brief council on that's coming up is Phantom of the Pathway. So it's going to be like a haunted walk through Killaloe Pathways Park on October 30th from 6 to 9 p.m. Still in the planning phase. I have a meeting with our KHR Volunteer Rec Committee and interesting stakeholders with the logistics, but I'm thinking like we'll have a DJ, some inflatable Halloween decor, a fog machine. Council budgeted $2,000 for this event, and it will be a pilot program. So seeing how it goes, we can make that and take steps for next year if needed. So yeah, I mean, council already approved of my the rink board ad slips. That concludes my report.
Questions for Colton?
Not question, but comment. So I think the Irish Gathering went quite well. I was speaking with some of the other groups, and I'm a member of some of the other groups as well that had things going on. So the farmers market, that did really well as a companion event. The Friendship Club also had a companion event. They had the bake sale, a rummage sale, and a number of different, and a breakfast going on. I spoke with Roger, who told me that they raised $1,200 that day. So that was a great thing for them. So it's really good to have those other organizations as a part of the Irish Gathering event.
Yeah, I agree. Any way we can, give as many options to as many people as possible while still, contributing economic development, speaking and raising money and bringing people to our township is always a win. I also like to note, and I forgot to mention this to council next year, I'm thinking got a lot of people asking me about an itinerary. So I was envisioning next year at both entrances into Station Park for the gathering, I have a poster of the itinerary set up, like stationed, and it's nice and big so people walking in can take a picture or see it, and just have a general idea.
Any other questions? Ted?
Not a question, just a couple comments. Thanks again for all your hard work and everybody. To me, it was a great success as well. I'm just wondering if we haven't already, if we should be, or can we send a letter of thanks for the grant, whoever.
Yeah, I've contacted, we're actually having members from the Embassy of Ireland come down and see Killaloe for themselves, hopefully in the fall. But yes, I've sent off letters and sent them pictures of the councillors with in like the cutouts there. So they were a big fan of all that. Yeah.
And the part about the bar sales being low, I know I had a discussion with Jim Homer. Is he the president? Yeah. So he was, again, we've talked about this before, so I'm hoping he's going to work on getting that we change it to outside of the compound for next year, because there is talk that possibly we won't be able to use it anyways. So I think that would draw a lot more people, because on a hot day like that, if you want to have a beer and watch the music, you can have one, and I think it would be great for it.
Well, I spoke with Jim as well, and I'm a Lion as well, as you know. The Lions are committed to, it's not about the money for us. We're committed to continuing to provide that service to the community for that event. And I think setting up the beer garden within the park might be better, because it's people would have closer access to seeing the stage. So would still be in a beer garden or roped off area, but yeah, I'd like to look at that for next year.
Yeah, those are, Carl?
Have we done anything to change our alcohol policy yet? We were working on it like for 2 years or something. I don't know.
I think we determined that we don't need to, because council can provide, or council can make an exception anytime they want to.
Yeah.
Like that's in the policy.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We didn't need to. Any other questions? Harold?
There's another question. I just want to thank Colton for all the work he's done. And the volunteer rec cleared after everything was paid for about $2,300 on that. the donation bar that was set over by the ladies running the car show and registration was over $500. So we made money on it and it all goes back to the park. So, and Colton done a great job.
And that was a great week. Starting from the Sunday to the next Sunday. Busy time, right, Colton? You were tired, eh? Also, you should mention about the debrief. You are going to have a meeting coming up soon. And I forgot in my opening address, and I'm sure Colton probably forgot also, but we have to give credit to the drugstore for hosting the cultural center and plus the free hot dogs. It was outstanding. And our two the cookie and cream people did a great job with the ice cream. The Knights of Columbus did a good job with the burgers and their food. And our good friend, I'll let you say it, Betty O'Connor, that she did a great job too. So there's a lot of people that made that week a very successful week. So thank you to everyone.
Yeah, I mean, Mohammed's always open to help township anywhere I can. He's been great to work with, and yeah, just a thank you to the Lions and Betty and friends. They always help us any way they can, and it's great to have community partners like that. Absolutely.
Good. Thank you. And you can stay if you want. If not, bye-bye. Tammy.
Okay, so I provided council with a staff report outlining the current status of the provisional budget and addressing the questions from the mayor related to the reserves. So if we want to go over it, so what I'm basically saying is overall, the township's financial position remains stable and on track. Current revenue and expenditure levels are consistent with projections, and we are operating at approximately the same level as this time last year. For the revenue section, grants in lieu are currently on target with the final payments expected in the fourth quarter. Conditional grants are also on track, and we have received 50% of our Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund, OCIF, allocation. Canada-specific grants, the Canada Summer Job Grant will not be received until the end of the summer. As it relates to the gas tax transfer, no capital projects have been undertaken to date, so the transfer from the gas tax reserve has not yet occurred. Under the fees and charges, investment income may fall slightly below budget due to lower than expected interest rates. Under equipment sales, the public works superintendent is currently working on selling the community development truck. Additionally, a public works and a truck and an outdoor furnace are pending sale as well. Roads revenues are currently low, but are expected to improve once the annual aggregate royalty payments are received, likely by the end of the third quarter or the early fourth quarter. Environmental, sewer, and water revenues are on target. The transfer from recreation reserves will be finalized at year end based on the expenditures at KPP. And reserve transfers will be determined once the final numbers at year end are known. As it relates to expenses, under council, the year-end balance will probably be close and will depend on the number of meetings held over the next 6 months. Admin, health insurance came under budget, and thank you to our thanks to the successful rate negotiations by our representative. Computer expenses are expected to exceed the budget due to the implementation of the new accounting software. Integrity commissioner costs are already over budget, and MFIPA remains uncertain as one request may still be unresolved, and the new end of the new requests that that have been submitted for 2025. Under the administration building and fire department, both are operating within budget. The building department and facility asset management is on target. Health and safety department currently under budget, which is typical given the unpredictable nature of the expenditures in this area. Police Services Board, final costs will be dependent on the appointment and the involvement of the community and ministry representatives. Community Emergency Management Coordinator, that account is on budget. Roads, financials appear healthy. However, the A gravel tender has not been issued and no capital expenditures have been made so far. So depending on the number of winter responses before year end, this will impact the snow plowing and sand salting budget lines, which are close to the budgeted amounts at this time. Streetlights, waste, Moloch, landfill, and recycling are all on target. Note that the household hazardous waste day and C&D grinding have not yet occurred, and these expenses will appear in the fourth quarter. The remainder of the budget is on target. As it relates to roads reserves, the road reserves have historically been used to fund road-related projects, specifically capital projects. However, council has the authority to change the intended use of the funds. If council wishes to reallocate the reserve for a different purpose, this can be done through a formal resolution. OCIF provides funding for core infrastructure projects to support community growth and sustainability, such as in the following areas: roads and bridges, the construction, maintenance, and rehabilitation of municipal roads and bridges, water systems, upgrades and repairs to the drinking water systems, including treatment plants and distribution networks, wastewater and stormwater systems, improvements to sewage treatment plants, sewer lines, and stormwater management infrastructure. And lastly, solid waste management, which is landfill upgrades, recycling facilities, and waste collection system improvements. Municipalities can use OCIF funding for rehabilitation, replacement, expansion, or construction of those above eligible infrastructure projects to support community growth and sustainability. As it relates to the CCBF, formerly known as the Gas Tax Fund, they provide municipalities in Ontario with long-term stable funding for infrastructure programs such as, again, roads and bridges, rehabilitation, expansion, and maintenance of municipal roads and bridges, public transit, investment in buses, terminals, and transit infrastructure to improve transportation services, water and wastewater system, upgrades to drinking water treatment, stormwater management, and sewage systems, recreation and culture, funding for community centers, sports facilities, libraries, and cultural spaces, waste management, improvements to recycling programs, composting facilities and landfill sites, broadband connectivity, expanding high-speed internet access, particularly in rural and remote areas, climate change and disaster mitigation, infrastructure programs that enhance resilience to extreme weather events, energy systems, initiatives that improve energy efficiency and support renewable energy projects. Both OCIF and CCBF are obligatory reserve funds, which means these funds are mandated by a third party, which is the ministry, on what they can be used for. The two approved road projects, Mountain View and Division Road to the lake, total $176,7826, and the municipality has received a combined total of $384,661.80 from OCIF and CCBF funding, leaving the remaining balance of $213,983.54. Both OCIF and CCBF can be carried forward into 2026, and if necessary, can be banked up to 5 years. However, it's important to note that reporting requirements remain in place until the full amount of the funds, including any interest earned, has been used.
Good, very good report. Any questions on Tammy's report? Ted?
This question, Tammy, how long do you think it took you to make that report up?
This report, probably, I'm going to say 2.5 days.
Good.
Of course, not just solely working on that, but
Yeah.
intermittently.
They just, because that's the first time we've ever done it, and I mean, it seems like an awful lot of work for nothing. That's my opinion. The second thing I have, under the integrity commissioner, our actual expenses so far this year, $3,167. Would that solely be based on the last complaint, or was there other stuff involved with that?
There was training, I believe, involved in that as well. And then there has been some council members have contacted the integrity commissioner. So just individual questions that they have in terms of, code of conduct, conflict of interest, those kinds of things.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't off the top of your head, and if you don't, it's fine, roughly the cost of each complaint that's put in, would I be fair to say around 2,000?
For an investigated complaint and not just a question?
Yeah.
I would say so, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Ted? Anybody else? Bill?
Yeah. Ted, I understand your concerns, but I found this report to be quite helpful, like having personally, just having the reports to go through and see where we are. I mean, I trust Tammy to tell us, but it's because we're the ones who are answering to the taxpayers. It's good if you can say, yes, we're on track. No, we're not on track. Here's where we might have some extra money to play with things. So I found it helpful.
Yeah, my question was on the integrity commissioner. Costs are already over budget. And by how much? Do we have that?
We budgeted 3,000 and I think they're over 31.
Okay, just over, okay. And well, we're halfway through though, so, okay. Thank you.
I think this was a really useful report.
My phone's-
We're gonna get the hang of this mic thing yet. I thought this report was really useful and there has been councils that are trending in the red. One municipality, they were over, their deficit at this point is over $3 million and because of different projects that they've done. And I thought this would be a good time for us to see where we're at. And I think Tammy did a great job in describing where we're at.
Okay, so the second thing I have on my report is the facility asset manager seeking council's direction regarding siding colors for the basement side entrance. He's advised that the existing brick color is no longer available and therefore he is recommending siding.
I thought we decided we were putting siding on it.
Yes, and but now if you look at it, there's different colors. So if you look at his report, he's asking council to pick a color for the siding. He's attached 4 pictures with different colors that are numbered in order. His recommendations and in order of his recommendations 1 through 4. The reasoning that he is indicating that he's picking tan or white, and the tan or white color is because it's always available and in stock at most building supply locations. The lighter colors tend to last longer than the darker colors and don't fade or distort as bad. Darker colors tend to be discontinued when replacements are needed or you want to do another project. Prime example is the siding that's on the library is discontinued already.
Comments? Who has a color palette? Like the idea of tan or white because it's cheaper and it's in stock all the time.
I like the idea of tan because it might show dirt a little less than white.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when it rains, the mud, I don't know.
I'd say tan.
It's staff's number one recommendation.
They're number
I
one.
think we should stick with number 1. Does anyone disagree? Good. We're all good.
Okay. And the last thing I have for open is, last meeting, council was provided correspondence from an advertising rep named Eric Lee of the Royal Canadian Legion Ontario Command. And he's asking council to consider publishing the township's contact information in their next edition of their military service recognition book for $95 plus the taxes. Mr. Lee has indicated that proceeds raised from this annual project are used to support veterans transition programs that help veterans who suffer from PTSD, mental illness, and other such challenges and assist them in transitioning from military life to civilian life. The book is also available for all to see at local Legion branches and online at the Ontario Command Legion website.
Comments?
I'm for it.
Yeah, you said
$95.
$95.
$95 plus tax.
I'm for it.
Yep.
Unanimous? Do we need a resolution for that? Or just do it? No, that's it, Tammy? And now we're going to examine the accounts. Questions? Yes, Mr. Keel.
See. 2753, 27531. $5,800.75.
So that's
Sorry.
home hardware.
Yes, what
What it would be?
Culverts.
for what?
Culverts.
Oh, okay, good, thank you.
Bill, is your hand up?
No. Well, physically, yes, but no.
Any other questions? Brian?
27452.
I'm assuming that would be advertising.
Well, advertisements.
Okay. 27526.
That would have been the, sorry, 27.
526. And same thing, Brian, probably for advertising.
Okay, so
Eganville Leader.
Yeah.
so my question is, the Eganville Leader's less than half of what the Valley Gazette is. Is there any reason for that, or maybe we should be going with
Take a look.
more advertising in the Eganville Leader?
It might be a timing thing, Brian. Whereas it's the same amount of,
Question, if it's the same advertising, why is there such a difference?
the same amount of ads go into each newspaper. And I think this might be a timing, but we'll let Tammy check.
Okay. I also have one other one here, 27520.
That's the sound system
That's these
the-
microphones.
for the music. No, for the music in the part.
Oh,
for the,
music. Okay. That's why I asked. I didn't know what it was. Thank you.
anybody else? Okay. Anything under committee reports? Counselor McMillan.
So prior to this meeting, we had a meeting of the Economic Development Committee where the purpose for that was to go over the ROD grant and different possibilities. We decided to stick with the signage, the possibility of getting some new signage, and discussed getting some signs for Round Lake, because Round Lake doesn't have like proper signage. You know, like a custom sign, and also redoing the ones in Killaloe with like an emphasis on, you know, the fact that we are home of the beaver tails, kind of like our signs now. It's welcome to Killaloe, the home of birthplace of the beaver tails is sort of like the afterthought, because I think of just how those, when those signs were made. So redoing Round Lake, Killaloe, we might look at Willow just to make sure the signage is adequate, but Madawaska Valley does have a sign that's well on our side of the line, and it is a pretty nice sign, so I'm not sure it would be appropriate to replace that. Not replacing the boundary signs, they're all in good shape, the KHR boundary signs. And looking at some wayfinding signage, so pointing out some of the things like Pathways Park, like Cheryl Boyle Park, you know, figuring out those places that are sort of like those must see, so maybe having like 2 or 3 this time of little signs just to point out those things, you know, obviously no arrows as we've learned before, just like your next right, turn right for Cheryl Boyle Park. So I am seeking permission from council to work with Colton on this, just to identify the signs that we might like to have. We're kind of anticipating the grant we would put in would be around the $10,000 mark. We have to go to Matt Cherry for some clarification as we're redesigning. We're not using the same signs. So I'm just seeking permission from council to be able to work with our economic development coordinator just on seeing what signs actually need to be replaced and how many.
Okay.
And
Any questions? Ted?
Just not a question, but because I did sit in on that meeting, just so the rest of council knows, you're on a pretty crunch timeline, are you not?
it's a month.
Months,
Yeah.
just so everybody knows.
Yeah, so it's 1 month, and I do believe the cost, I'd say like 10, maybe $11,000 tops. I don't think it would be more than that. We are responsible for 50% of that cost, so it's the same grant that we got the website and the videos through. So yeah, we would be on the hook for 50%, but not 100%. So yeah, so just seeing if council can approve that,
So
just to go ahead and work on.
what she's asking for approval is that she can sit with Colton and come back to us.
Yeah, probably by the next meeting, I would think, right? Like we can.
Well, my next meeting's after the deadline, so
Well, I could bring something
Yeah.
back though
Yeah.
at our next meeting.
Everyone's good?
Okay with everybody? Okay. So that's all that I had.
One question to carry on that, on the subject, would we consider, and think about this, would we consider installing the signs this year or wait until next year?
It would definitely be next year.
So the grant would come through. I think you find out, it's September 24th, you find out roughly 4 to 6 weeks after,
No, it's months.
or it's after that?
Yeah.
Okay. Then ignore that question. Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it would be a spring of next year.
Okay. Any other committees? Nobody has anything else? Okay. And let's do correspondence now. So the first one is Renfrew County District Health Unit.
Can I make a comment about this?
Yeah.
So in this, I just wanna pat Maureen on the back a little bit. So in this report from the county. Sorry, in this report from the county, it talks about community outreach. And so what they've done is that the harm reduction team from the health unit has partnered with the Killaloo Food Bank, or initially partnered with the Killaloo Food Bank and CRC's watershed program, to have staff right there to meet folks who are coming to the food bank, to offer them education and training and things like training on how to use naloxone kits if they have someone in their life who's a drug user. That pilot project that Maureen and the folks from Watershed spearheaded turned out to be so successful that now the health unit is doing that all around the county. So I just wanted to say thank you, Maureen, for doing that, and you're saving lives.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's coincidental or not, but we have not heard of any overdoses happening in this area for quite a long time since this project started. And our next step is we're going to be bringing in some folks from MESA to help people if they want to have addiction support to get out of that, or get some counseling or mental health supports. So there's lots happening in the community that people don't know about.
And this was a big topic of conversation at AMO, and the drug addiction and overdosing. And they laid out pillars, and the first item that anybody talked about was housing. You do your housing first, and then you bring in your people to help. And it really, they made a point of it, and they need more housing. And then you bring in your necessary people to help. But I just wanted to pass that on. County of Renfrew, project updates. And the next one is Renature Foundation Letter of Intent. Tammy, do you want to speak on this? I think you said something about someone coming in. Oh.
Okay, so the Director of Development for the Renature Foundation, his name is Jamie Thomas. He had contacted me after the mayor had asked that be put on the agenda. And he's asked for a delegation for the September 2nd meeting to explain the program and what they're looking for from council. So Mr. Thompson has indicated that the following is what he's going to be asking is that somebody appoint a designate municipal contact person, which is generally the CAO. Have a resolution passed by each council, which acknowledges that the Renature and the Renfrew County District School Board Partnership would allow them to apply for the FCM funding, which is about 1% of the allocated funds per school, so roughly about $50,000. And to get a letter of intent on official letterhead from any counselor, which offers to bring a resolution of support before council at the earliest opportunity. So I've indicated that if council prefers, I can prepare a resolution and a draft letter for consideration for the September 2nd meeting instead of bringing it forward today at this meeting.
Just to add a little bit to it, and I didn't realize this, and I'm not sure if anybody on this council knew this, but we received a platinum award for Killaloo Public School on their outdoor learning center, and which surprised me when we were at county and I heard this and I said, why didn't we get information? And they said, well, that's one thing we have to improve on. And what this basically is, there are 17, I think it was 17 other communities that are going to be receiving this money through FCM and another source, but there's no cost to each municipality. They're doing this on their own hook. So, which is a great thing. They just need us to say, this is a great idea and to do a resolution. So is that okay? So we're going to have the delegation come in on the next meeting and we'll have resolution ready to be signed. We're good? Okay. The next one is the Lori Norwood and the woman's sexual assault, and that is to take back the night march in Killaloe, and the date would be Thursday, September 18th. Totally. I think it's a great thing. And do we need so if council's okay, I will send her an email and tell her we're all in and to go from there. Is that okay? Right side? Do you want, oh, she gets you one too? Sure. Then you can do that. Yeah, I told her that we'd let her know Thursday. We've got a meeting on Wednesday, so. And she is going to be away, but she said just send it to her. West Nipissing, moratorium on aerial spraying. Township of Armour, support family health teams. M&R Resources Development, proposed carbon storage regulations. Ian Huggett, further emergency measures required to avoid catastrophic forest fires. EOWC advocacy briefing package. City of Kingston heritage property insurance rates resolution. Township of West Lincoln, support HER elect respect campaign. Township of West Lincoln, human trafficking prevention in Niagara region. Does anyone else have any other correspondence? Okay, and we're going to move to any bylaws. None. Unfinished business. I think the reason this communication policy came back was a couple of counselors wanted to review it and make comments, or because I thought we had said staff was going to come back with us with a revised one.
Yeah.
The initial direction was council was going to read it because some council members didn't have time, so they wanted to have it, and then it was going to come back for discussion. And there was discussion about staff doing it, but no direction other than until the council had looked at it.
Okay. So the people that hadn't not reviewed it, any comments?
I just wanted to see what other communities have, and it's common. Other communities do have communication policies. They're similar, not exact. So I think it would be good if we did want to adopt this, that we direct staff to look and see what's out there and come back to something if we feel that this is important to have. It is common in other municipalities to have.
Okay. So
My comment.
So direction to staff would be to search out and come up with one. Is everyone okay with that? What?
Yes, if everyone's okay with that. And I said, no. I'm
Oh,
not.
okay. Carl?
Yeah, the one we went through, turned down.
This is the one that the committee turned down and it was brought to council to vote on.
I'd say no.
Carl, you need to turn your mic on.
I'd say no.
So what you're saying no to is that for staff to search out another report similar to this, but only staff's report.
Just a staff report.
So
now.
So you're saying you don't want a communication?
Instead of Tammy having time to, you know, a lot of waste of time going through each township looking for a policy statement and
Brian?
Yeah, I would say no, if the committee already turned it down and I go along with the committee, I'll say no.
Maureen?
I don't feel there's harm in, I don't know if it's necessary for us necessarily. I don't see any issues with our communications currently. So, you know, I don't see any harm. It's just, it seems like a standard thing for a lot of communities to have in this day and age, but there are things in this one that we were provided with that definitely I don't agree with. So I would want it to be more standard along the lines of what's happening in other communities.
And Bill? Bill?
Yeah, I'd be supportive of having a staff researched and written policy that we could consider, because I think it is an important issue, just not like it is written. But again, I agree with Councillor McMillan, it's not the highest priority, but I'd like to have one.
Harold?
I'm saying we've already turned it down at the committee to start with, and I don't think it's needed. Be honest.
Okay, so the vote's 4-3. Okay. Moving along. Update on the strong mayor powers. So effective April 9th, 2025, the Township of Killdew, Haggerty, and Richards was formally designated a strong mayor municipality under the Municipal Act 2001 and related provincial regulations. This designation was applied because despite being one of Ontario's smallest municipalities, our township has 6 councillors. I want to reaffirm to residents and members of council that these legislative changes have been in effect since April the 9th, 2025. As a municipality, we are mandated to comply with this framework, and we will do so. Admittedly, this is not something we anticipated. I had hoped our concerns could be voiced directly to the province at the AMO conference. However, that opportunity did not materialize. What is increasingly clear is that these powers will be extended across Ontario in due time. And there is a strong likelihood they will eventually apply to all municipalities. This is the new legislative reality, one that applies regardless of who serves as head of council or on council. A key legislative change is that the CAO now reports directly to the head of council. The head of council is therefore the sole point of contact for the CAO. Reflecting the clear intent of the legislation, the head of council is the municipality's chief executive officer, exercising direct authority over senior administration to ensure that municipal operations align with council-approved priorities and the provincial mandate. I will be meeting with staff together with the CAO and deputy to answer any questions they may have about the new reporting structures. To ensure our governance framework complies with these legislative changes, the township will conduct a thorough review and update of all relevant bylaws, policies, and procedures to reflect the new reporting structure. This is a matter of compliance, not permission. Strong mayor powers came into effect on April 9th, 2025 by provincial law. Council cannot approve, amend, or prevent them. Our responsibility is solely to bring municipal policies, procedures, and bylaws into conformity. They include the procedural bylaw, all job descriptions, organizational chart, human resource manual, council staff relations. The documentation will take time, and I think a realistic date is October 31st, 2025 for completion. So our CAO can present these documents to full council on November 18th, 2025, after her and I have had opportunity to review the changes. Further, I am acting in accordance with the Strong Mayor's framework to take direct responsibility for preparing the township's budget. While staff and council will continue to provide input, it will be my responsibility to ensure the budget reflects both provincial priorities such as housing, infrastructure, economic growth, and the needs of our community. In the coming weeks, I will meet with CO Clerk Treasurer and the Deputy CO Clerk Treasurer and set the budget schedule. The draft budget will then be prepared under my direction and presented to council for debate, amendment, and final approval prior to the February 1st, 2026 deadline. This approach strengthens accountability, ensures clarity in the process, and keeps our township in line with the legislative framework under which we now operate. In addition, effective immediately and in accordance with the Strong Mayor framework granted to the township on April 9th, 2025, all existing committees of council are hereby dissolved. Going forward, council will operate as a committee of the whole for the purpose of considering and debating matters previously assigned to individual committees. Final approval of all matters will continue to rest with council at its regular meetings. The mayor, head of council, will serve as chair of the committee of the whole. The committee of adjustment will remain separate and with the same structure. This change is being implemented for the following reasons: efficiency, transparency, equal participation, administrative simplification, improved governance, and etc. The committee of the whole will meet every month on the second Tuesday or as required to review, discuss, and make recommendations on municipal business prior to final council decisions. The September meeting will be held on September 23rd, 2025, as the earlier Tuesdays are unavailable. The agenda will be circulated closer to the meeting date. These meetings will be available on YouTube and be open to the public, providing residents with convenient access, promoting transparency and accountability, and ensuring the community remains fully informed about council's decisions and discussions. In addition, I am directing the CEO to review and confirm that all committees required by the province of Ontario are properly established and functioning in the township. If any are missing, the CAO is to bring forward the necessary reports and bylaws at our next meeting to ensure full compliance with provincial legislation. Finally, effective immediately, I am placing a pause on all township hiring. This directive includes pausing the current recruitment process for CBO. The pause is necessary to allow me to review the township's human resource manual and the job description currently in use. Concerns have been identified that I want addressed and discussed with legal counsel before further hiring decisions can proceed. I want council to be clear under the Strong Mayor framework, staffing and organizational matters fall under my authority, not council's. Tonight's in-camera session may proceed for information purposes only, but no decision on candidates can be made at this time. I am directing the CEO to arrange a meeting with the township's legal counsel to be attended by the CEO, deputy CEO, and head of council for the purpose of reviewing these concerns and obtaining direction. This directive remains in effect until further notice. With these changes, while these changes strengthen the head of council's executive authority, they do not diminish the importance of a cooperative working relationship between the head of council, and staff. I remain committed to ensuring that decision-making is open, that council is fully informed, and that the public's trust in our governance remains strong. Together, we will use these enhanced tools to deliver services more effectively, strengthen our community, and meet the priorities of both the township and the province. So, I'll pass those out. Right? Okay.
So can I say something? So the purpose of council sitting here, we might as well not be here at all, as far as I'm concerned.
Taking any comments on this, Mr. Mayor? Speak up, speaker.
You have comments? Bert? Go ahead.
You're asking for comments, yeah? Okay, so first of all, like, in your speech there, Mr. Mayor, there was a fair bit of stuff that was not true, I would say, some stuff. First line off, 6 councillors. That's the reason why we were made a strong mayor municipality. But now every municipality is going to be, so that's really has nothing to do with it. Even though I know you like that comment. But there's been, and there was other ones in there. Another one I wanted to, committees were all demolished except Committee of Adjustment. Why is that?
Because we're going to the committee of the whole now. And there'll be one committee meeting per month.
Well, why not the Committee of Adjustment also? And the other one I had just off the top of my head was the HR review, Human Resources Review. We just did one. Is there something you missed? It's been going on for a year and a half. Tammy spent, I don't know how many million hours on it. And now you're saying you're going to have to review it. What part did you not get?
The part that says, when she had redone that, everything was changed to council. And now it has to be changed to head of council.
So you want a full review done again?
It's a review. It's just
That's
changed.
what you call it. That's
Well-
exactly your words I'm using here.
Okay. Change of words.
So you're not sure what you want then? Or am I?
You're
am I
reading
doing
it.
something different now
Yeah,
than what you said
you're-
minutes ago?
You're reading into it. It's where it says, council, it will now be the head of council.
So with the strong mayor powers, it's sounding to me like council has no say in nothing. Budget, anything else that goes on here. It's entirely up to you,
2 years, anyway.
right?
Your question is?
We have no say in nothing. You said you'll do the budget, you'll do the hiring, you'll do this. So why are we sitting here?
It's as far as the budget, Tammy and I and Charlene will sit down, go through the schedule, and there'll be a delegation of authority that will take place during that process when we sit down. We still have to and present the budget to council. For approval. I present it, Brian. I present it.
So council still has an opportunity. I'm still learning about the strong mayor powers. I believe we still have an opportunity to veto decisions as well. There is still some degree of and I'm still learning, and we should all obviously, as of tonight, learn a lot more. What I don't like in here is the eliminating backroom practices, because we'll eliminate the practice of individual counselors working behind the scenes, because you have implied, I felt you implied to me that I'm working behind the scenes with staff. And what we do is we go and have conversations with staff. We don't direct staff. All business comes back to this table. If I have a conversation with Colton about anything that would be important, everything comes back here. I feel like you've had way more discussions and have directed staff a whole lot more than any of us have. And I don't like that implication in there. I think that's a little rude. Yeah, but we all need to educate ourselves because we need to make sure that the rules are being followed by everybody, including the mayor.
Yeah,
I
we get a
agree.
chance to, he's gonna bring the budget to us and we're gonna
Hang on,
say what we want and he's gonna still make his decision.
hang on. Bill had his hand up first.
He's a strong mayor.
Bill had his hand up first.
I just wonder, I'm recalling a meeting and I don't know the date off the top of my head. But it was either slightly before or just after the April 9th when the strong mayor powers were given to the municipality. And I recall your statement. I don't know why nobody asked me. I am not in favor of this. So I was wondering, what was the tipping point? When was it that you decided that rather than, you said you wanted to make decisions, or you indicated that you wanted to make decisions with all of council at that time. So sometime between April and August, you've changed your mind. So I
We
wonder
actually
what
have
was the tipping point.
we actually have a recorded vote where he voted against it, right?
That's right. And I was. And we have no choice. We
have a choice.
Can I answer the question? So it sounds, my impression is that this is not going to change. It's legislative, and we have to adopt it. We have no choice.
I'm sorry, Dave, there is a choice. There are things that you are mandated to do. There is a choice. All of this stuff in here does not need to be in here. There's absolutely a choice. And I think this is like a little bit out of control. It is. It's a little bit out of control. You have a choice to keep committees as they are or to change them. You have a choice not to get involved with hiring. Like you have a choice to keep things the same. And you have chosen to put yourself on a throne and make yourself the top of the top here. Like, you know, so obviously you are for this. Somewhere in this is doing something, you know. You have a choice. There's a choice of how far you go with these powers, and you have chosen to go the 110% route.
You're good. You'll have to take a couple aspirins to get your head through that door on the way out. After listening to that report.
I've asked this council numerous times to bring in that Brian Mascaron fella. Numerous times. Tammy has had a report since 2 or 3 weeks after this was discussed. Everybody on council did not want to hear anything about it. We asked numerous times. And there was now all of a sudden it's become reality. And now it's a shock and you're not fully aware of everything.
Pardon me? I'm not what?
Fully aware. This is happening. It's reality.
I might be more aware than you think, Mr. Mayor.
Me. Sorry, he's pointing at you. Yeah, I don't know how to put it. I do not, I agree. The legislation is there. We can't change this legislation. The way that people conduct themselves and the way that people operate, that's a choice. So I do not believe that every mayor across every municipality is going to be operating like this, taking full control of all and cutting the legs off of council, or like pulling the rug out from underneath council. So you can say that to the audience, and that's fine. You're allowed to say that. But I think the audience should educate themselves as to how other mayors might be taking on these new responsibilities.
And I do want to add to that point. So I did receive all the information from a presentation about strong mayor powers. And that was one of the things I said, because a lot of municipalities don't want them, but there is a degree of things you have to do. One of the things you are mandated to do 100% is the budget. It's all of these extra things you've thrown in that are just like over the top. Those are not mandated things. Those are things you can do, but most mayors would choose not to do those things.
And as I said earlier, there'll be things that will be delegated. There will be things delegated. So.
So just for our taxpayers, just remember who you voted in, because we are in trouble. I don't know who I can talk to about this, but I definitely have to talk to somebody, because I can't believe what you're telling me just because it's coming from you. Because you tell us stuff all the time that is not true. You can laugh all you want. You can, like, it's a joke. This is a joke. You're power tripping, and it's unbelievable that you're doing it. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I think you're going way overboard on it. You do want full control over it. Even though you voted against it and said this, there's things that we are going to have to do with it, but there's a lot of stuff that what you've just said that don't need to be in there, period.
Earl, if you want confirmation of that, just Google Dave Mayville. Google and see why he was let go from certain places. This is why. And it's right there. It's not nothing I'm making up. I've Googled it.
Okay, we're moving along. New business.
You're not putting it on the floor for anybody else with, you're not going to ask if anybody else has old business, or you just concerned about yourself now?
Any other business?
So I missed the last meeting. I was on holidays. So I just want to say that I'm very, very disappointed in the mayor going to the integrity commissioner. Again, it's going to be at least $2,000 of taxpayers' money down the drain. I applaud Kate McFalls for coming in, speaking their mind. Was very happy with that. I did not know that was going to happen. It sort of caught me off guard. I thought she was coming in for the other reason. As council, we've had multiple times where we've had opportunity to put complaints into the integrity commissioner against Mayor Mayville. As a council, we've decided that we should deal with it in-house, and we've done it on multiple occasions. I'm very disappointed that the mayor did not talk to any of the councillors and just went ahead and put his complaint in with the integrity commissioner. Very sad, very sad. I would like to know why he didn't talk to us or me and ask me what my opinion was, because I was involved with it, and why you went directly to the integrity commissioner.
The first question is why I didn't go to you? Because you were part of the process, the 3-2 vote that night, and at that point it was settled. And then future dealings, the vote was overturned. So, and why I didn't go to you? I didn't go to any other
Well,
council.
that's why I asked. Why was this not discussed before you went to the integrity commissioner?
I felt it was severe enough that we had to do that.
So you felt it, yeah. My problem is the way you come on, you're trying to make people think things are worse than they are to make yourself look good, just like your speech tonight. to me, it looks like you're in campaign mode and you're trying to get votes already, which is, it's too bad. You're going to destroy a beautiful municipality here just so you have power, and it's sad, very sad.
Questions? Questions, discussion? Ted?
With these new findings that you've presented tonight, are we even supposed to vote on stuff like this now?
All those in favor?
Oh, no, Mr. Mayor, you skipped new business.
No, we're on new business.
No, you didn't. You went to Aqua, new business. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. Any other questions? All those in favor? It's the one, right? That's all we need for them. Next item is the closing of the Killaloe Service Ontario. The Township of Killaloe, Haggerty, and Richards has experienced a significant loss with the recent closure of our local Service Ontario Center, following the retirement of its longtime operator, Judy Cebulski. For many years, Judy was the welcoming face of Service Ontario in Killaloe, ensuring that residents could access vital provincial services close to home. Her professionalism, kindness, and dedication made an immeasurable difference to our community. Her retirement marked the end of an era. And while we celebrate her well-earned next chapter, we also recognize the hardship this closure has brought, particularly for seniors and those without easy access to transportation. On behalf of council and the township, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to Judy for her years of outstanding service. She supported our residents with care and commitment, and her contributions will long be remembered. As we reflect on this change, I remain hopeful that a workable solution can be found to restore convenient access to these important services for our community. Next up is Jack's Lake. Not sure if Councillor Pekoski or Councillor Levine received any calls on this, but I received a couple emails about that property. And before I could even respond to it, I had a call from Lee Perkins at the county. And I didn't realize this, but that is Crown land on Jack's Lake. Okay, so in case you get calls, it's Crown land. And also, under the Public Lands Act, residents are permitted to camp for up to 21 consecutive nights on that Crown land. And after which they are required to move a minimum of 100 meters to a new location. So in case you receive calls, it's that. And next one is the enhanced traffic warning devices. If memory serves me right, we budgeted for 2 devices for Dean to purchase. I think that's correct, isn't it? I think. Okay, and so on Round Lake Road, there was a device that was set up. I thought it was one of ours, but it's not. It's one of the counties, and it's there for another couple of weeks. And what I did find out was that data, it does contain data, and it gets sent to the OPP. We don't get to see it. So there's that. And also, the county has extra enhanced traffic devices, and they're having a 50% sale on, if you can believe this. So they're selling them for half price, and they are ones that have data included. So would council be willing to have Dean check out the pricing and come back to us with that? I don't know where Dean is as far as what he's ordered. So is everybody okay with that, to give direction to Dean? I know he's not here, but. So can I see a show of hands? The county has these devices 50% off. So, and I think it's around 1,500, 1,800 range, but I'm not sure if Dean has already went out and purchased devices, because I know we budgeted for 2. So if he hasn't, this might be a better price, but for him to check it out. So that's all we're asking, for Dean to be able to check out the prices from the county to see if they're in comparison with what he's got.
Reports data and it's sent to the OPP. Is it automatically sent to the OPP, or does somebody have to take that data and send it to the OPP? And who does that?
Well, I think
I believe it's sent automatically because we've had this discussion multiple times about these signs, and we've talked about the county signs multiple times. I'm not sure. Like, you were at the meetings, you should remember that much. But yeah, it sends it automatically. We'd have to check and see how old they are. Like, we
Yeah,
don't want
of
to
course.
buy somebody else a piece of junk to save a few $100.
Yeah, I think it gets sent to a cloud or something like that. So,
Because remember that OPP sergeant, she basically told us that they do get it, but they don't always look at it. So,
yeah,
So just a comment, because it depends how they're, like, it's data that they're taking, that it's not a person that's sending this, it's a machine. So last week, one day I was coming into Round Lake and I was in front of that sign, and the sign said I was going 82 kilometers an hour. And I looked at my speedometer and it said 52. So I thought, something's wrong here. So I realized then behind, there's a dump truck coming behind, it was going 82. So this information that OPP or whoever's going to receive, is it going to be correct stuff, or is it going to, am I going to get the ticket, or the guy in the dump truck?
I don't think anyone's getting a ticket from that machine, but it's a good point, though.
That's that's your where you're going with it, because we already have some per kilo, right? On the way.
Well, yeah, we've asked Dean in the budget, there was
No,
2.
but we have the
Oh,
radar
the
one.
FODAR thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
So that's my question there. How are you gonna know who you're recording? And there was 100%. Like, and
Yeah.
there's no speedometer off by 30.
Just so you know, Brian, I've asked them if they could move it back farther, because I had 2 or 3 people at the Round Lake AGM say that it was too close. Scott, I think they said it was too close to the sign, so they weren't getting the residents wanted it back farther, so it would highlight more. And believe it or not, like, I was there and I've watched, and people do slow down when they see it.
Well, 100% they
Yeah.
slow down, but the point I'm getting at is the location of that sign has to be a little bit better. One there coming around Lake, the problem is they have the sign, there's a dip in the road. So the vehicle, like myself that day, was in front of the sign, but the sign was reading over and reading the vehicle way back here.
Yeah.
It's not a true. That's fine for that kind of report, but what about the one where you're gonna have the radar? Somebody's gonna get a ticket that doesn't deserve it.
So can I add something to this?
Sure.
I have something under the Police Services Board report that I'm going to give after that also relates to a
Yeah.
traffic.
Do you want to do that now?
Well,
Sure.
I can do it now because they're kind of interrelated. So we had our first OPP Detachment Board meeting. You're looking at the chair of the OPP Detachment Board. Merv Buckwald is the vice chair. We had the police here. They talked about statistics, like what they're doing in the area. We had our oath, approved the terms of reference. It was a very like preliminary. This is our first real in-person meeting. We're going to be having some information put onto our website and also looking for committee members through, again, put a post on Facebook, I'm guessing. And one of the things we talked about, because I said traffic is obviously speeding specifically is one of the #1 concerns, is that the police recommended this thing called, I believe it's called a black cat. They're about $3,000 to $4,000, he said. And we have not investigated it, but they will tell you like right down to what kind of vehicle it is. Like they can detect it. And it might be something we might want to look into just to see if that's a good option. And they get all the statistics. They said speeding is a really hard one because a lot of people say, oh, there's all this speeding here, but they need proof, this gives them proof and says, yes, we should send some officers down here. So yeah, maybe we can investigate that a little further as well and see what options, because that is recommended by them.
What was it called?
I think it's called a black cat.
So, but these signs or these speed signs like in Round Lake, they give them all that information. It gives you the time when their most frequent speeders are going through, how fast they're going, like.
Just be interesting to compare. And I
They
don't
get
know.
all that, they get all that information now and they don't do anything about it.
Yeah, well, it'd be interesting to compare. And that's obviously something I'm going to see if maybe our municipalities have an opportunity at these meetings to bring forward some of our concerns, municipality by municipality, because I'm sure we all have different concerns. I'm not sure if that is an appropriate for the detachment board meeting, but I'm going to look into that.
You still on that committee?
I'm the chair of the committee, Ted.
But with our new thing
You
here,
Oh, yes.
No, I'm
Well,
serious.
Mr. Mayor, would you like to?
he dissolved all committees, so I would assume you're no longer on that committee.
It's provincially mandated.
Anyway, that's my
No,
report on the.
that's good. But and I don't want to cut into your time before, but it would be good if we as a municipality saw some of the facts.
Mhm.
Like like Brian's case, like how many people are on that road speeding? Like, so it gives us that data, like not that we can do anything about it, but it would be nice to know. We could tell people.
Well, that's something to bring forward.
So the question is, did you have something, Carl?
Okay, the county's putting these signs up at the school here, right? Supposedly this fall. And what gets me is you can't even go down here. You can't, if you're coasting, you're doing 50 kilometers an hour and the one at 40, like you'll have to ride your brake from the top of the hill to the bypass. But seriously, you just go out here and you'll coast down here faster than 40 kilometers an hour. And I think it's absolutely insane. Thank you.
If you remember, I voted against it because not only that, people are getting charged and they don't get to fight it in court. They're guilty.
Yeah.
That's not how the justice system works. But
Okay, we're moving away. So, okay, so, the request has been, would we allow Dean to check with the county for the cost of theirs compared to what he's doing? Is everybody okay with that? All six?
Sure.
Yeah, of course. So Okay, we got that. So Dean will have direction. Okay, and my last one is the water level drawdown date. I just want to let everyone know it's September the 7th. They'll start decreasing. So in case you get calls, that's when it's starting. Right, Scott? Okay, and Maureen, you'd said you wanted to talk about the OPP at this stage.
I did.
Oh,
I gave all the information.
Oh.
That was all the information. It was a very preliminary meeting. So
Harold, you had something?
Yeah, before you go out of new business, and if I can still call it, I want to call a waste management meeting for August the 27th, after our committee of adjustment meeting.
It's the same group, right?
Same day.
No, same group.
Yeah, same group.
Yep. So that we're at 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, 6 o'clock. We start at 5.
The first one's at 5.
5:30 for the committee of adjustment.
Are there committees or are there not committees?
Well, his is,
No, you told me that you dissolved all the committees
yeah, okay. We have to have a
and that you
meeting.
were making all the decisions.
We have to have that meeting for May, right? So either we have it that day or we have it before council.
No, we want to have the meeting before we bring it up to council.
So the night of council, we can have the 6:30 meeting. Which is what date? What's the date?
Well, what's wrong with the 27th?
So we could have that meeting Tuesday night at 6:30 before council.
Why not the 27th?
Be-
The same time as the committee adjustment meeting. It's one meeting then.
Well, that committee is okay to have. Because it's a committee of adjustment.
Yeah,
It's a provincial mandated meeting
yeah. Oh,
and your meeting is not
it's not important enough.
according to the province, no.
No, according to you.
Okay, so
I just need clarification, Mr. Mayor. You're saying we can have the meeting before our next regular meeting?
if it will call it something other than a committee meeting, yeah, because he needs information in that meeting. So we'll call it a special meeting.
So can't we have it on the 27th?
We could name it the special meeting then.
And if it's not a committee meeting, should all council not be there? If we don't have.
For a special
committees in it?
meeting?
well, you've just dissolved all the committees and you
Each
said it's
one.
council of the whole now, so all
Well,
council should be there at
it
this
should-
meeting.
There should be no meetings without all of council.
Hang on a sec. So the first meeting of committee of the whole is September 23rd. You can't wait that long, can you?
Well, I don't want to. It's stuff that we've discussed with the super and everything else. It's you got a lot of complaints against you brought forward about people at the waste site. I mean,
So do you want the meeting September 23rd? Or do you want a special meeting on the 27th?
Jesus. You said it.
Okay, we'll have it September 23rd. That'll be part of the agenda.
Is that a regular council meeting or is that a?
That's all of council, yep. September 23rd. We'll add that to the agenda.
There's one thing I'm really going to be happy to say, I'm not running in the next election, people. Because of this crap.
September 23rd. 7:00. Okay. Any other new business?
You can confirm we won't be having regular meetings or just committee meetings, like just the whole once a month, you said.
Once a month. Regular council meetings, yes.
We're still gonna have these.
Yeah,
Why?
well, because we have council meetings.
Really?
So I do want to add, this would suggest that our economic development meeting that we just decided on will not be happening and will instead, things will be discussed at committee of the whole.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. We're going to committee of the whole.
Moved by Ted Brand, second by Maureen McMillan, motion to move into committee of the whole, be it resolved that council move into closed meeting pursuant to section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended for the following reasons: personal matters of an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, labor relations or employee negotiations, request under the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, if the council, board, commission, or other body is the head of the institution for the purposes of this act.
All those in favor? All those in favor? Carry.